Thank you. That's the first word with what I can start this video from, for all your comments, likes, and of course the dislikes too, because that helps me to improve. I got a lot of comments, many questions. I hope I've answered them all, and thanks for your support. I guess I uploaded the video 3 months back, and I had never expected such a reception of like more than 10k views for my video on my channel. Of course, they are nothing by YouTube standards, but they mean a lot to me, like a budding YouTuber who's like growing, right? So yeah, that's what I can say. Thank you and welcome to my channel for tuning in again for this update video. Now you got it right, the title. Now we are going to talk about upgrades, the problems, and some bonus tips and FAQs near the end. The first thing, upgrades. There are 3 things you can upgrade primarily: RAM, SSD, and the hard disk. Now the first area, RAM. Yes, I did upgrade my RAM. It's I hope you can see this. Yeah, it's a Crucial 16GB DDR4 2666 260-pin SODIMM. Now the main reason why I upgraded this is because I run a lot of virtual machines. Now I configure domain controllers on Windows Server. I configure some clients. Yeah, as you know, virtual machine is quite a memory demanding task. It would go to the worst extent of running like 4 server OS, the Windows Server. I run the data center 2012 R2, like 4 machines at a time and a client below it, maybe a Windows 7 or a Windows 8. There I need some really crazy amount of RAM. The 8GB was completely insufficient. When I used to run like 2 virtual machines, what I would do is that sometimes 2GB and 2GB of memory I would allocate it, or sometimes if my host machine is running a lot of applications already, I would have to allocate like just 1GB for a virtual machine. Can you just imagine like running a server OS with just 1 gigs of RAM on a VM? That would be quite horrible. I needed some decent amount of RAM which can handle the workload, and that's why I had to go for the 16GB. Now the problem, I won't call it as a problem, it's sort of a bottleneck again. The motherboard, as I repeated in my previous video, has only a single RAM slot. So this 8GB, yeah, it's a 8GB module in a 16GB pack and the 4GB module in a 8GB pack. Now these are like complete spare. I can't use it. If the board were to have 2 slots, it could have been quite useful. It's just a spare now, lying empty. So that's the only bottleneck with regard to RAM. In terms of the performance improvement, are there any evident changes? No, you can't expect that. Now I'll again make you clear if you aren't aware of the working of RAM. As you know, it's basically a temporary memory, and for the background applications and for the normal usage, the difference won't be, it would be like as same as running a 16GB and a 4GB laptop. Very similar. The RAM where you actually need it, where the requirement actually kicks in, is where you do a lot of multitasking. Maybe you can do some hardcore video audio production, photo editing. There you will definitely need a lot of memory. So that's the caveat here. Now second upgrade, SSD. Yes, while changing the RAM from the local Lenovo store, and by the way, it's still in warranty period the time when I'm recording this. I got it from Amazon, by the way, for like 6,000 bucks. The MRP is 6,100. I got it for 6,000. While getting it changed from the store, I saw the motherboard. He was changing it right in front of me. There was a slot of SSD which was empty right next to the hardware, the hard drive enclosure. So which means, yes, if you have an E14, you can retrofit SSDs. Now, did I do? No, I didn't do it. The reason, there are I guess 2. Now the first reason would be, if I were to install SSD, the obvious reason would be I need to install the OS on it. So even more, I could juice up some more performance out of it. I can't do that right now because I have a lot of files in this machine which are completely like cluttered in a very unorganized manner. I need to segregate them, take a backup, and then install the SSD, install OS on it. It's a very painful process. I didn't even complete the method what I was going to tell you. It's pre-installed with Windows 10. It's a genuine copy. Now if I were to put a SSD, I had to remove this, like to completely format it, install it on the new SSD. I don't want to take that risk right now. So I'm like, maybe if I really desperately need it later, like how I needed the RAM, maybe I'll go for it. Secondly, the storage. This is a 1TB hard disk of 5400 RPM. I'm quite fine with it. Like, I have a lot of space still empty. I actually don't need quote unquote an SSD, so I'm fine with it. The third and the last upgrade is obviously the hard disk. It can go up to 2 terabytes of hard disk, again the 5400 RPM, or you could just baseline it to like a 500 GB of 7200 RPM. It's up to your wish of what you need it. So these are the 3 areas of upgrades. The first area, the RAM, is the only area where I have done. SSD maybe later. Okay, now talking of the problems that I had personally experienced on this machine, because problems I hadn't covered it during the review. It was quite generic. I guess the problems, the pros and cons, I think I didn't cover it in that video, so that's why there are chances for me to get some considerable amount of dislikes. So okay, now I'm covering in this video. If you're still in touch, do watch the video completely, and if you're till here, like the video, subscribe if you want to stay in touch, and leave a comment. The first problem I would say is Wi-Fi dropout. Now I know Lenovo laptops are like quite famous for their Wi-Fi and Bluetooth weird issues. Now of course I'm not saying those issues are haunting here on my laptop. It's kind of a very rare phenomenon. It's not even about the range. I would be like in a proper range with my router, but it's quite rare. Sometimes it would just disconnect out of no interest. Sometimes that's how it happens. It just snaps off. I have to again connect it and move on. Now I don't know if I had to put this in an actual issue, quote unquote. I don't want to do that, but again, it's my responsibility to address, because I've got some considerable views and you guys have been asking a lot of opinions, so take that into account. And by the way, the Wi-Fi card in this is, I guess, the Intel Wi-Fi 6 card. There are 2 variants. You can get it with Realtek or you can get it with an Intel card. This is Intel. Like, I don't know what's the issue with it, but recently for like past 2 months, it has not been happening. The day when I recorded that old video 3 months ago, after that it used to happen. Now it's completely fine. Maybe software updates might have fixed it, not sure. So yeah, that's the first issue. Second issue, the fingerprint reader is kind of snappy. I haven't tried it with 16 GB. The time when I was having it with 8 GB, maybe after a restart, after a complete full update of a Windows build, it just won't work. I need to click the enter, click on sign in options, and then enter my PIN number and go. Then what's the need for having a fingerprint? I mean, that made me think quite crazy. So I was like, oh come on, this obviously consumes a little bit of memory. I didn't want to put the load on the system. It's after all a dual core processor moreover. So I was like, okay, clicking the enter and entering my PIN number won't take much of time. So for now, I have removed the biometrics from this. The third issue, I got a comment regarding this, I guess 2 months ago. He got a ThinkPad, same E14 of i5 10th gen. Whenever he plays a video during the laptop, it just gets stuck for like 5 seconds whenever he's moving around. Now how to solve this? Yes, even I did experience this issue. I was supposed to make this video long back first of all, but this made this delay. I wasn't getting it anywhere at such a decent price. Talking about the issue, now he told me whether it could be something due to the fitment of the hard drive connection between the motherboard. Now I'm not sure of why this issue could be. Normally what manufacturers say that even while having your CD drive, it's not recommended to move around. The only solution which I can give you is, if you're so concerned about this problem, maybe just go for an SSD. That should solve the purpose. But otherwise, I'm not sure. Then if this issue were to be quite serious, it should happen with even music files, even while opening my documents, while the daily usage, the system should slow down, or there should be some sort of a mismatch. Like even if I'm typing, the fonts don't appear, then after a few seconds it appears, then yes, I can conclude that the hard disk is quite weak. But it's not the case here. It's perfectly fine. It only happens with videos sometimes. I guess it's something to do even with the resolution. Like if I'm playing some crazy 4K videos, there are high chances to happen with that. Okay, now talking of the fourth issue, Windows Media Player server execution failed. I have used many Windows machines through my life. Everyone does that. That server execution error, that irritating error, I got a lot on this machine. This is the first time throughout my life I'm getting so many errors. It's not like very buggy. The frequency, it's quite large as compared to the other Windows devices which I've used throughout my lifetime. There are of course alternatives, like you can use VLC, or maybe you can use the movies and TV app from Microsoft, from the Windows Store. But I didn't want to install all those other third-party applications and consume more space, because Windows Media Player is quite built in right to the core of the OS level. So I was like, then this should be completely fine opening audio, video of almost all major formats, it shouldn't be a big deal breaker. But sometimes that issue occurs. What I would do is that I would just close the file explorer from where the file is actually. I would again reopen it, and yeah, eventually it starts playing. That's sort of a weird issue, but it's fine to live with it. Okay, so these were the problems that I had experienced. Nothing very serious. If it were to be serious, I wouldn't be even having this laptop. I would have just thrown it long back, but I'm loving it actually. Yeah, I think it's time to talk about the bonus topics and the FAQs. Now, in the comment section, I have got some questions like, is it good for gaming? Is it good for streaming? Take my word, ThinkPads are never targeted for gamers. Maybe this can work for something like very basic games like Vice City, or maybe playing the Need for Speed old version, the Asphalt, maybe previous versions. This would do. Or if you're having a ThinkPad of a dedicated GPU, which I told Radeon RX 640, yeah, then it should be a nice deal for you. Playing some decent games. AAA rated titles, just serious cross. Cannot happen. Streaming, there are a lot of fields, like you can stream with regard to videography, photography, or maybe with regard to games, obvious ones. Coding, even people do coding streams. Now for gaming is already tough. Gaming and streaming on it, better luck for trying with it. Is it good for photography? The monitor on this, my unit is a TN panel. Now this doesn't produce any sharp colors. You can go with an IPS panel if you're locked on a budget, but my main question what here would be is, like, if you were to do some more of multimedia tasking, more graphic oriented, why would you even go for a ThinkPad on Lenovo? Even Lenovo offers Legion, you can go for that. There are also other good brands. I would even recommend the HP Omen. That's a nice laptop. ThinkPad, I don't know, like maybe you are attracted to the brand, how it has been. Yes, it's definitely reliable. You can do some sort of low-end editing. I edit all my YouTube videos on my ThinkPad. Like, it's getting the job done. But if you're expecting that levels of perfection, that notch, this is not for you. Go for something even more better. That's what my word is. Coming to our question, is it good for coding? I'm a computer major student. I primarily use this for my college works. With regard to coding, I use VS Code, or sometimes even the built-in Python ideally. But for the most time, VS Code for C, Java, Python and all the stuff. It just works like a charm. Okay, now the other major question, Intel versus AMD on a ThinkPad. Now, I guess Lenovo has been like quite strategic in terms of the E14 model. It's on the budget model also. So Lenovo has seen a lot of people buying it, and they have also released a Ryzen variant on it. Even if I were to pick one, I would have definitely gone for the Ryzen. I wouldn't have gone for this. During that COVID lockdown time, we needed a laptop very urgently. So I was like fine with it. But for you people, if you're more of an AMD fan, you have the Ryzen variant, just go for it. It already comes with 8 gigs onboard soldered RAM. If you want more, you can upgrade it to up to 16 or maybe even 24 gigs of RAM. You get only SSDs, no HDDs, no hybrids. That should be like for some decent amount of professional use. But if you're more of an Intel fanboy, hold on for now. Lenovo will be launching the 11th gen Intel processor ThinkPad variants of E14 and E15. What they call it is the Intel Evo. Hey, why do they call it as Intel Evo? Do you have any idea? Our cameraman will help us.
An existing set of guidelines for Intel's partner manufacturers that strive to create thin, long-lasting, efficient laptops.
The Intel Evo, I don't know why is it called Evo, but anyways, it sounds quite cool. So you can wait for that.
It's more customer friendly.
Customer friendly. Let's see. Good luck for Intel. Okay, so now we are at the end of the video. Should you buy this laptop? Well, it totally depends on you. It's not like only ThinkPads are the best. I have also got comments from people saying like petting IdeaPad with ThinkPad, or maybe sometimes completely different brands with ThinkPad. Now, if you're more of a gaming oriented and if you want more of a hardcore device from Lenovo, just go for the Legion. Don't look for ThinkPads, because ThinkPads are not meant for some like pro related audio video purpose. I don't know how to coin that single word for these kind of works, but if you're more of a student having like not any of professional works related to some graphic oriented stuff, this should be okay for you. There are like E series. Maybe if you can afford more, go for something like L series or maybe even the T series. They should be even more better than this, because in terms of build, yes, of course, for a budget of 40,000 rupees, the build has been like superb, but still, if you want more, you have to pay more for that, right, and go for some better series. So yeah, that would be my conclusion. This was a short video which I wanted to make especially for thank you, and since I made an update, I am reporting to you people. So yeah, I hope you liked it. Keep more commenting on this video. I'll definitely keep answering. This is Sairam signing off. Bye bye.